What's up guys, Andre here, and today I'd like to take a look at deploying websites with Netlify. We'll take a look at deploying a static site on your desktop, a static site in your Git repo, a Create React app built with its CLI, and a Vue CLI app. We'll also take a look at custom domains, HTTPS, and contact forms. Now, in general, Netlify can only host static sites. They have more advanced features that allow you to call serverless functions, but in general, they are a static site host. So they cannot host and run your backend code, whether that's PHP or Laravel, Node, or Python. However, when it comes to building and hosting static sites, so your HTML, CSS, and your JavaScript, they have the best features by far, which we will take a look at here. So the first thing I'd like to do is deploying a static site on your desktop. So I just Googled free Bootstrap theme and I downloaded this one called Freelancer. And here it is on my desktop. If I just double click the index.html, a typical theme here. And there's also a contact form, which we will make use of as well. So how do we deploy this? So let's log into Netlify. Let me just log in here. And here's the UI we are presented with. So it says you can drag and drop a site folder here if you have one on your desktop, and we do. So all we have to do is just grab this folder and drag it in. And that took what, like 2 seconds, and it's deployed. If you just go to this site, as you can see, it gives you a unique subdomain on Netlify, which you can change, and we will change. But if you click on that, there is that theme on the internet. So we'll take a look at this contact form later on, but let's go back and let's change the subdomain because we're going to make use of it when we do custom domains later on. So we can change it here, but you just have to make sure that it's unique to every site on Netlify because it is a subdomain. So let's name it Freelancer Bootstrap Andre. That should be pretty unique. Okay. And now you see this site is hosted on that subdomain. So right here, and there it is. Cool. All right. So now let's take a look at using Git to deploy your sites, which you should be doing if you're being a good developer. So let's go back here and let's press new site from Git. And I'm going to select GitHub. And I'm going to search for, a few months ago, I did a video on a resume template. So let's go ahead and deploy this one. Let me show you it to you on GitHub. To show you the file structure. It is the most basic static site you can get. There's an index page, there's a style CSS, and there is images. So that's it. So we want to deploy from this root site. So we can specify that in Netlify. So here's the repo and click that. And we want to deploy master. You can select other branches if there were other branches. And we can specify a build command if we were using, say, Vue or React, which we'll get to, and a directory. But these are all default, so we are good. So we can just deploy this, and it will take a second because it has to pull it down. And after a few seconds, it is completed. So if we just click on this, there is that project, and it's hosted on the internet. Cool. And again, we'll take a look at custom domains in a second. So we'll just leave it as the default name. Okay, now let's take a look at a Vue application that was made using the Vue CLI. So for this, I'm going to use a Vue to-do app that I made, which I have a series on if you are interested. So let's go ahead and deploy that. So I'm going to say new site from Git, GitHub, and it's called to-do Vue, I believe. Let's just see what to do. Yeah, to-do Vue. And I have a whole bunch of different branches here. I'm just going to select the first one. Actually, no, I'm going to select the one where I used Firebase. So the backend is already hosted on Firebase. So this should work. Okay, so build command is the command you use to build it for production. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me just go into that directory and let me just open the package JSON file. And right here is the script, the build script. So we just have to run npm run build, and that's going to make a dist folder which you can deploy. So let's go ahead and say npm run build, and the folder is dist. And that should do it. Let's deploy the site. So just give it a second. And if you want to see what it's doing, you can drill down. And I think if you go here, yeah, you can see what it's currently doing. Okay, so you see it says site is live. So let's go ahead and go back. And if we open this, let me just close this other one and close this one too. There it is there. And this will actually persist because the backend is hosted on Firebase. So hello there from Netlify. And if we refresh, it's going to persist because, like I said, this is hosted on the backend is hosted on Firebase. So yeah, our front end is hosted on Netlify and the backend is on Google's Firebase. All right, now let's take a look at a Create React app, which is pretty similar to this. I have a series on a React to Do app as well. So almost the same process as Vue. So new site from GitHub. Instead it's to do React. So I'm just going to do after the first video, and I didn't do Firebase for this, so we'll just do what we have here. So the build command is, I believe it's build as well, but the published directory is build as well, not dist for React. And that should do it. Let's deploy the site. And let's drill down into it. Okay, so site is live. Let's go ahead and go back and let's view it. And there's our React app. Hello from Netlify. Cool. All right, let's go back to our resume one. So this one. So I want to show you automatic deployment when you push to the master branch. So when you make a change locally, push it up to GitHub, Netlify is automatically going to recognize that and then push to the server, which is a great workflow. So let me just open the resume template up. Sorry, what's it called? Resume template. Yeah. Let me just open this up real quick. And then let's open it up. Let's just change something here. Say Netlify. Okay. So now we can push this up to GitHub. Say Netlify test. Git push. Okay. So that's going into GitHub. But also Netlify picked that up. And it might take a few seconds, but let's open it again. And it's not there yet. Oh, actually it is there. So right there. There's the change. So yeah, that's a pretty cool feature. Also, I won't show you here, but I'll mention it. Say someone were to make a PR, or you can set it up for a branch as well. Then Netlify will automatically build that and give you a preview outside of the actual server. So on another URL. So you can preview those changes before you merge it into production, which is a really cool feature. Okay, now let's take a look at forms or contact forms. So let's go back into that first one. Sorry. Let me just close these. Okay, so there is a form here, and typically you need a backend to send an email, and that's kind of a pain if you are just working with front-end stuff. So Netlify makes it really easy. All you have to do is add a Netlify HTML attribute, and it will do the rest for you. So let's go ahead and update this form to do that. So I'm just going to open it up in Sublime. And here's the index page. And the form is, just look for it, down here. Now, this actual template comes with code to try to submit it to a server. So I don't want that because I want Netlify to handle it. So I'm just going to change this name to something else, say 1. Also, I think it needs to be method equals post, which is not here. So let me add that. Also, for some reason, the inputs don't have names on them. And we actually need names for this to work in Netlify. So let me just quickly add names. So I'm just going to select these. I think there's 4 fields. Phone and the message right here. So I'm just going to do name equals, and then this one will be message, this one will be phone, this one will be email, and this one will be name. Okay, so now that that's set up, like I said, all you have to do to make Netlify recognize this is to add a Netlify attribute here, Netlify, and that is it. So let me just redeploy this. So to redeploy, just go back into here and we can just click that and re-drag it in there. Okay, so that is updated now. You can see it says published. So if I go back into that, back into here, let me just hard refresh this. Let me just view the source to make sure that those changes are in there. Okay, so you can see the name here, so that worked. So let's go ahead and submit this and see if this works. So Andre at andre.com, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello from Netlify form. Thanks, Andre. So let's go ahead and see if this works. Okay, you can see the form submitted. And to view your submissions, just go back into here, go into forms, and there you see one submission. And there you go, there's that information, name, email, phone, and message. So that's really cool. And there's no need for a backend to do this. There's also other features, such as adding a reCAPTCHA. Sorry, I'm not sure about the pronunciation on that. You can also actually do Ajax forms, so it stays on the same page. So yeah, take a look at the documentation if you would like to see how that works. Oh yeah, also you can automatically forward this to an email address. So if you just go into account settings, it's in site settings and forms. Here's where you can add a notification for, you can do Slack or just email or a webhook if you like. Okay, now let's take a look at custom domains. So I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do this one, and let's do the view one as well. So I'm going to rename the view one. Let's just say view to do Andre, because we're going to need this when we set up our DNS. Okay. And let's start with the other one first. I'm going to start with this freelancer bootstrap Andre. So let me just close this, and let's read the documentation, which can be found here. So we're going to do it this way. So we have to create an A record pointing to your root domain to this IP, which is Netlify's IP for their load balancer. And also, if you take a look at the screenshot, you also have to set up a cname record. So let's go ahead and do that. So you just go into whatever domain hosting service you use, and there should be options to change your A name records, your cname records, and all of that stuff. So my domain name registrar is good, but their UI isn't the greatest. So what I do is forward the DNS to DigitalOcean, and I let DigitalOcean handle my DNSs and my domain. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go into networking here. And I'm going to use this one, andredemos.ca. I have some example sites on this, but that's okay. We'll just do it for this video. So let me just go into it, manage the domain. You just click on it actually. And it already has this set up. So I'm just going to delete this and we'll start from scratch. Okay, so I deleted all the existing DNS records. Okay, so what does it say? It says create an A record pointing to this IP. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So an A record, we can just do @ and then this IP. Okay. So that's created, and we also want a cname record with www to that name we made in Netlify. So it'd be freelancer bootstrap Andre. Okay, so back into here, cname www. So here would be freelancer bootstrap andre.netlify.com. All right, let's create that. Okay, now if we go into here in Netlify, and if we set up a custom domain, let's just put that in here. So andredemos.ca. You can actually purchase domains from Netlify as well, which makes it even easier. But if you already have one, this is the process you go through. And it says it doesn't support .ca. It means it doesn't support .ca for purchasing, but you can add your own. Okay, so if your DNS was not set up correctly, you'll see a sort of warning here. But the DNS actually for DigitalOcean propagates really quickly, so we don't have to wait. You might have to wait depending on how fast your host propagates, but it shouldn't take too long. But it actually can take up to 24 to 48 hours, but I personally have never experienced it to take that long. So now if I just go to andredemos.ca, this should work. Just open this. And there it is. So it did add HTTPS. Yeah, I think it added it before because I already did this. But if you didn't have it, there would be a button to enable it from Let's Encrypt. And it would literally take 2 clicks to get HTTPS working, which is great. Okay, let's add one more. And I want to add the View To Do app as a subdomain. So I want it here, but at view.andredemos.ca. So how would we do that? We would just have to add a cname record to our DNS. So yeah, go back into your DNS panel and add a new cname record. So for us, we want view.andredemos.ca. And here is the name of the Netlify site. So what did I name it again? I named it viewtodoandre.netlify.com. So let's grab that. Back into here. Okay, let's create that cname record. And that's correct there. Okay, let's try that. Okay, now we can go back into Netlify, set up a custom domain, view.andredemos.ca, verify, yes. And let me just refresh this page. And yeah, this is because I did this earlier, but there should be a button here. Just click it if you want HTTPS, and you should add HTTPS. But yeah, this should be live. So if you click on this, there we go. There's our site at this subdomain, and our app still works. Cool. So there you have it, guys. We managed to deploy our static sites using Netlify. As you can see, it's very easy to use, has some awesome features which make deploying really easy. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Okay, thanks. Bye.